This video was shot on the new PL mount APO Microprimes from SLR Magic. They're an amazing set of lenses that punch well above their weight for the price. When I was looking to buy a set, I realised there's not much information on them out there, so I just wanted to put together this little video in the hope it might help out some people interested in them. SLR Magic have taken the optics from their larger Hyperprime Cine Lenses and put them into these smaller Microprime housings. Optically they're exactly the same as the Hyperprimes and cover a 46mm image circle, so are suitable for full frame sensors. The more compact size makes them lighter, more versatile and easier to use with smaller cameras or gimbal setups. The focal lengths currently available are 25, 32, 50 and 85. They all have a t2.1 aperture and 150 degrees of focus throw rotation. Each lens is the same in shape and size and all feature an 85mm front for matte box use, but also an 82mm thread for screw-on filters. 25 will give you a good wide angle, but on Super 35 sensors it's sometimes nice to have something a little bit wider. The 25mm has a close focus of 12 inches, around 15 inches on the 32, 2 foot 3 inches on the 50, and 3 foot 3 inches on the 85. These aren't bad, but I'd love to have seen them focus a little bit closer, especially on the 50 and the 85. SLR Magic also sell a PL to EF adapter that's super easy to use. You just unscrew a ring on the back of the lenses and the adapter fits into place and locks. It seems well built and the connection is nice and solid. It's great to have the flexibility of using the lenses on a small EF mount camera without having to do a big mount change or needing an additional set of lenses. They all have nice smooth iris and focus rings with hard stops. I've been using them with a wireless follow focus and they've performed great without any problems. Overall they feel really well built, although it would have been nice to have seen the witness marks engraved opposed to just being painted on. The only other niggle I have is with the lens caps that come included. They're okay, but they feel a little bit plasticky compared to the strong build quality of the lens itself. I've swapped them out for some rubber caps, which slide on more easily and feel a bit more premium. Optically, I'm a really big fan of how these look. All lenses in the set have a lot of character, and I really love how the out of focus areas fall off. Some people describe them as having a vintagey look, which I think is true in the sense that they aren't as perfect and corrected as some modern lenses, but I find they hold contrast and sharpness a lot better than some older vintage lenses, while still having their own character. They resolve a lot of detail, but aren't clinically sharp. Skin is rendered nice and smoothly, and I think the colour leans a little on the warm side, in the same way Cooks do. The highlights bloom very nicely, almost as if there's a subtle pro mist filter or something on them. All of the lenses in the set do show some breathing, and how much this bothers you is completely subjective. In real life shooting, I can't say I've noticed it, and I think it's a really small price to pay for lenses with so much character at this price point. One of my favourite things about the lenses is how they flare. The 25 especially has a really distinctive rainbow flare when you shoot wide open. If you stop down to around 4, this cleans up, and the same goes for the other lenses too. Depending on the angle of the light to the lens and the t-stop you're at, there's a huge variety of flares you can get. Part of what's so unique about these lenses is their apochromatic design. What this means is that chromatic aberration, or fringing, is really reduced compared to other lenses. You'd normally expect to see this in high contrast areas, and as you can see here, the lenses do really well in controlling that. In extreme cases it will show up, like in this example here where the tree branches are against a really bright sky. Wide open at 2:1 this is quite obvious, but it does clean up as you stop down to around 4. I think the 25 shows the most amount of fringing of the set. The consistency between lenses is fairly good, but the 25 doesn't quite match the rest of the set perfectly. The lenses are all wide open for these shots, and as you can see, the 25 has a slight green cast. It's also a little bit darker, which is interesting as T-stops are supposed to be a more accurate way of measuring the aperture opposed to f-stops. It's very quick and easy to correct for this in the grade, but definitely something to be aware of when shooting. Overall, I'm a really big fan of the lenses. They take on a lot of the best qualities cinematographers look for in older lenses, but in a modern housing and also for a really reasonable price. I can't actually think of any other lenses out there I'd rather have at this price point. Having the option to quickly switch between PL and EF, and the fact they cover full frame, makes them a really versatile set. By far my biggest complaint is that there aren't more of them available. As I said before, I'd really like to see a wider option like an 18 or a 20, and outside of this, more traditional cinema focal lengths like 40 or 65 would be nice to see too.